No, he won't. No, he won't. He's never going to see it. I think technology is morally neutral. But I think that there are powerful forces that are trying to make sure that we don't make conscious, thoughtful choices when it comes to the things that we buy, when it comes to the things that we listen to, when it comes to the things that we watch. I mean, there are a lot of forces in the world that are encouraging us to watch high ad revenue content and not low ad revenue content. So that stuff concerns me, but I think ultimately it's whether we use it for good. Blue shirt, since I've tried to point you 3 times, sorry.
Can you please make a political video about Egypt, right?
Can I make a video about Egypt? That's the reason I showed this video, actually, was to talk about, to try to find a way to talk about the complexity involved in what's happening right now. I will make a video probably on Monday, but I want to wait to make a video until we have a better sense of what's going on. I mean, there's no question that the Egyptian government is corrupt. And there's no question that they're arresting people unfairly and attacking people unfairly. There's no question about any of that. But there is a lot of question about what would happen. What would happen if the government were toppled? And that's an interesting and difficult question. I want to try to get a better handle on that before I make the video. But yes, I would. Oh my God, there are a lot of questions.
This sort of goes with that a little bit, and what you're saying before. What are your feelings about the idea of net neutrality and what they're trying to do to stop us from uploading and downloading on the internet?
Yeah.
Something that happens that a lot of the stuff that they do and find important is on the internet. And then also the idea of Egypt and how governments can actually shut off the internet.
Right.
Those ideas are very, at least to me, frightening. But how do you feel about them?
Yeah, I mean, the Egyptian government pretty effectively shut down the internet in Egypt, which is a technically impressive accomplishment. It's not going to be down for long. All the nerds on 4chan and Reddit are working day and night they're like, well, fine, we'll shut down your whole world. We'll shut down your mobile networks. So I think the reverse attack will probably be so scary to the Egyptian government that they may turn the internet back on. It worked very well in Iran when they turned the internet off. It made it very difficult for people to organize, and then in turn eventually allowed the government to shut down the Green Revolution. There's no way to stop that on some level as long as you have ISPs that need to work with the government, which most ISPs do. As far as net neutrality goes, I mean, obviously, as a guy who makes little content for a lot of people, I want net neutrality because I don't want to have to compete with NBC. I don't want to have to be able to try to pay Comcast as much as Comedy Central can pay Comcast in order to get people to watch my videos. So yeah, net neutrality is obvious. I only have 2 more questions. Oh my God. There's so many great, I'm sorry to all of you whose questions I didn't answer in advance. Yes. How many minutes of my video are seen? I usually shoot for about an hour. So, yeah. Yes. Yes. Can I please tell you something about my upcoming female main character? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So I wrote this. I finished Paper Towns, and then I had to finish Will Grayson, and I finished Will Grayson. Then I had this idea that I was going to write a sequel, but it wasn't going to be like a sequel to a book that I'd written. It was going to be a sequel to a fictional, non-existent book, and it was going to be called The Sequel. It was very clever. Unfortunately, like most very clever ideas, it was also finally pretty stupid. And it tortured me for a long time, and then I said, I don't think I can do this. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a zombie apocalypse novel. So I wrote this really bad zombie apocalypse novella, and a lot of people have it with them because it was available via charity, or I guess for charity. And I struggled with that for a long time. I was thinking, man, this zombie apocalypse novel is really going to go somewhere. And I didn't. Then I had this idea I was going to write a desert island novel, and I basically announced to the whole world that this was the new book. It was my desert island novel with a female narrator, and yeah, no. Turns out that was another good idea, really an intellectual exercise that would only entertain me, where you put 6 kids on a desert island and nothing fun ever happens. It's just an extended meditation on whether and why life is worth living in a deprived state. Yeah, so I was starting to think that maybe I was just going to become a video blogger, and let my books speak for themselves. And then, for many years, I've been working on this book that was set in a children's hospital. I've been working on this book ever since I was a chaplain at a children's hospital. But the book had always suffered from me wanting it to be about the most interesting and important person I know, myself. And it was really kind of self-indulgent. And then I met Esther Earl, who's a member of Catitude, and was a moderator, helped run FBI Nerd Finders, and this is her bracelet. I realized after talking to Esther, particularly after she died, that if I changed the children's hospital novel around a bunch, and didn't set it in a children's hospital novel, and didn't make it about me, that it might suck less. And so I started writing very, very quickly after 3 years of writing, having a bunch of stops and starts, and then I was able to write a better, hopefully, story. So the girl in the book, the narrator in the book, is a kid, 16-year-old kid with cancer, and I don't know, I think that's all I'm going to say. Oh, there's a boy. He's very cute. And he has cancer. But he's super hot. And he only has one leg. So, and he's, what else can I say about Mr. Augustus? Also there's some of you may have noticed that I've been tweeting a lot about Swedish hip-hop. This is the last thing I'll say. This is on this topic of the things that we imagine becoming real. In this story, these 2 kids, they want to meet this author of a book that came out 15 years before, and the author's very reclusive. He lives in exile in Amsterdam, and he's never written anything since his book came out 15 years ago. His book didn't do that well, but these 2 kids really like it, and it's kind of the reason that they're friends in the first place. The novelist, I'm not going to tell you much about him, I don't no spoilers, but he's obsessed with Swedish hip-hop music. And so to understand what it would be like to be obsessed with Swedish hip-hop music, I started listening to Swedish hip-hop music. It's fantastic. It's so much better than hip-hop music in any other language. And this is yet another example of the things that we imagine becoming real. I was like, I think I'll write a story about a Swedish hip-hop guy who likes Swedish hip-hop. And then I was like, I am a guy who likes Swedish hip-hop. So I hope that you guys like the new story. It's going to come out in the spring of 2012. I have a lot of work to do on it. But I'm excited for you to read it. I'm excited to dedicate to Esther. I just talked to her family a couple days ago, and they were really nice about that and understanding about it. And it's really cool about it. Anyway, geez, there are a lot of people here. Thank you. Don't I want to say, and I'm going to say this because I know that you're not supposed to interrupt applause, but I'm going to say this anyway. I'm really grateful to be part of a community with you. I'm speaking specifically to Nerd Finders now. I'm really grateful to be part of this community with you, and I'm really grateful to be able to make stuff with you because it really is the biggest thrill of my professional life. To see the stuff that you make in response to the stuff that I make, and to see all the ways that you inspire the stuff that then I get to make. So thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being such a big part of my life. And as always, don't forget to be awesome.